Well, happening now, the search is still on for whoever kidnapped a little girl in Albuquerque yesterday.
Yeah, thankfully that girl is now safe at home after the mother chased the kidnapper down with her car and slammed into him. Now, that happened near Catherine and San Mateo Southeast in Albuquerque. It's where News 13's David Romero is right now. And David, police now say this could be the same guy who abducted and even molested a little girl last week.
Well, Matt, that's what police believe may be the case. Now, as you can see behind me, everything is finally quiet once again in the southeast Albuquerque neighborhood where it ended last night. But the manhunt and the investigation will likely continue throughout the day as police work to get a hold of this kidnapper. Now, everything started around 6:30 yesterday evening in a neighborhood near Indian School and 12th Street. This was in northwest Albuquerque. Police say a man forced a 5-year-old girl into his car. Luckily, the girl's mother saw it happen and started to chase the man. During the chase, detectives say the man kicked the girl out of the car, but the mother continued on talking to 911 the whole time. Now, she eventually rammed into the kidnapper's vehicle near Catherine and San Mateo. That was about 7 miles about 7 miles from where it all began. Meanwhile, the kidnapper took off on foot after the crash, and that's when police blocked off a 20-square block area looking for the man.
At this point in time, it appears to be a complete stranger abduction. There appears to be no relation that we've been able to determine from either the mother or any of the witnesses, and this appears at this time to be a stranger abduction. So that's how we're treating it, and that's why such a large amount of resources out here tonight. Again,
that last update that we had from police around midnight, they still had not apprehended anybody in this case. Now, some critical information we want to pass along to you right now is some identification on that suspect. Police are saying they believe he is a man in his 20s or 30s, believed to be Hispanic or Native American, and was last seen wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Matt, back to you.
Okay, thank you for that information, David. Now, as we mentioned, investigators think this may also be the same man who lured a 6-year-old girl into his car near the same apartment complex at 12th and Indian School last week and molested her. All right, in other news this morning, there is a graduation dilemma at a popular Catholic high school in Albuquerque right now.
That's right. It's all about a student who was born a girl but identifies with being a boy. The student is Damian Garcia, who legally changed his name earlier this year. Now he goes to St. Pius, and at their graduation, girls are to wear white gowns and boys wear black. Well, Damian says he wants to wear what the boys do, but the school says no.
I just want to have a happy graduation and just walk in my black robe, nice and proud, and just have a memory to look back on, you know, with my family and friends.
St. Pius says the gown colors are tradition, and if there's ever any question, the school looks at the birth certificate of a student. Now, Damian says female. Damian doesn't expect St. Pius to change any rules by graduation next week, but hopes in the future it'll have all students wear the same color gowns. Well, we are now hearing from a county commissioner who helped a high school wrestling star who got special treatment after being accused of bullying a teammate. Investigators say Nick Chavez roughed up a younger teammate during lunch at Rio Grande High back in February. Well, he was suspended and wasn't supposed to wrestle in the state tournament until his family got a number of politicians to step in, that is, and get a judge to have an emergency hearing. Now, one of those politicians was Bernalillo County Commissioner Art de la Cruz. He hasn't talked about what has happened until now, with Dean Staley on special assignment.
Why is the tournament so important, though? Why isn't the fact that this boy slapped a classmate and took money from him and knocked a tray out of his hand, why isn't that what's important here?
And I appreciate what you're saying, and that's why I said 2020 is really convenient, but at the time we didn't have that information. There was 2 wrestlers.
Art, I have to interrupt you. You did have that information. That was why he was suspended. That wasn't a secret at the time. If you were in touch at all with the family, you knew that that's why the school said they suspended him. They didn't come to the suspension without some sort of finding of what happened.
I appreciate what you're saying. The community that was calling me, the individuals, the family members, other interested folks, their position at the time was that this was a misunderstanding by a deputy, that the 2 boys were friends, that the 2 boys were wrestlers, and it was all a misunderstanding.
Okay, so Nick Chavez won the state wrestling championship. He also is charged with battery and larceny, but those charges will get dropped if he stays out of trouble and supposedly sets up an anti-bullying program.
What kind of match?
You can see all of Dean Staley's story on special assignment on KRQE.com or tonight on Channel 2, that would be our 2 Casa Fox station, at 9. We have new information on a story we brought you yesterday. We told you how the State Motor Vehicles Division claimed that there had only been one reported incident of false emissions test notice. Well, now we know that the problem is a lot bigger. Many residents in Bernalillo County got a notice saying that they needed a new emission certificate before their current one had expired. The State Taxation and Revenue Secretary, who oversees MVD, told News 13 the mix-up was the result of a computer glitch and that it appeared to be an isolated incident. But Fast Test owner Greg Howland says it's nothing new to him.
I've had over 400 customers, my own of my 3 stores, where people have asked, why am I being retested after 1 year instead of 2? I kind of laughed.
Albuquerque has more than 100 emission testing sites. Howland estimates that thousands of people have probably unnecessarily paid for a test. An MVD spokesperson says the department has yet to receive any additional complaints. Today is your chance to give your feedback on New Mexico's transportation system. The State Transportation Commission is meeting at 1:30 this afternoon at the UNM branch on College Road in Gallup. You can also see the meeting streaming live on the internet on Governor Susana Martinez's website.
New Mexico's highest court is now deciding whether state workers are getting shortchanged thousands of dollars. Employee unions are arguing that they have not been getting the pay raises they agreed to during the days of Bill Richardson. They are suing for the raises and back pay. The State District Court and Court of Appeals ruled in favor of the unions, but Governor Susana Martinez's administration is appealing to the state Supreme Court. Her office claims if the state is forced to give this retroactive pay going back to July of 2008, it could cost $20 million, and that could mean layoffs or even program cuts. But the unions argue contracts are contracts and the state needs to pay up.
The government is going to spend an extra $19 million to clean up nuclear waste in Los Alamos, which could be good news for some employees at the site. The money will also help prevent about 120 layoffs at the Los Alamos National Lab. There was a June 2014 deadline to clean up the waste, but the federal budget cuts have sliced into the cleanup funding. A push by the governor and New Mexico's congressional delegation, though, helped make the additional funding possible.